For tonight's first game, Frank Bassoni, Dan Nixich, and William Kennedy. Bassoni is the referee with the ball at center court. Alleman to jump along with Rico Washington for Weber. The ball tipped once, tipped twice, and taken by Weber in front court on the right. Timmy Gibbs with the ball on the high left-hand dribble, and now crosses over with the right-hand dribble. Passes to Jeff Schofield at a high post at the free throw line. Swing the pass on the left to Greg Boyd. Tenacious man-to-man defense for Idaho State. Pass goes to Washington at a high post. Down in the lane to Schofield along right of the lane, and Schofield is immediately fouled by the red-headed Darren Alleman. Alleman's first foul, the first foul of the game. The game 15 seconds old. No score from the Frick Breeden Fieldhouse in Bozeman, Idaho State and Weber State. Schofield to play the ball in, gets it in down low to Fred Rollin. Turns in the lane for a short bank shot, and it's good. Fred Rollin scores for Weber State. Rollin didn't do much damage for the Wildcats against Reno last night, but he's a good inside player. 2-0. Immediately the ball knocked out of bounds as Idaho State gets the ball in offense for the first time. Brown had it out on the right wing, and Rollin knocked it out of bounds. Jim Rhode for Idaho State will play the ball in front court to my left from the far sideline. Snaps the pass into Troy Miles. Miles dribbling with the right hand. Man defense for Weber to start. To George Eddie Davis at the top of the key. Off on the right side of the key to Jim Rhode. Rhode to Brown. Left point of the free throw line. A 16-foot shot. Barely draws iron. Rico Washington with his first rebound tonight. To Timmy Gibbs, who comes galloping back left to right toward the left wing and now goes with a high yo-yo dribble out front. A quick double team, but he gets the ball to Greg Boyd on the left wing, right back out top to Gibbs. Gibbs swings the pass on the right wing to Fred Rollin. Rollin back out top for Greg Boyd. Overshot on the ball in the backcourt, and it's an over and back violation against Weber State as Boyd runs the ball down near the scorer's table along the far sideline. The game is 1 minute and 1 second old. Weber State 2, Idaho State nothing. Bengal ball in front court to my left. Rhode plays it into Brown, who laterals the ball back to Troy Miles. Miles snaps the pass on the left wing to George Eddie Davis. Back out front to Brown. They swing the ball all the way down low for a running hook shot toward the hoop from George Davis. Davis with about a 6-foot hook shot that he banked in makes it 2-2. 18:40 to play first half. Weber with the ball in offense to my right. Greg Boyd on the left wing. Feeds at the free throw line to Gibbs. Spins. Turns for the shot. It's off to the right. No good. Jumping high for the rebound. Chase Brown for Idaho State. Bounces it once. And on a very controlled fast break. Now actually just a half-court offense for Idaho State. Miles comes across the timeline right to left. To Jim Rhode between the circles. Off on the left wing to Alleman. To Davis. Davis off on the right to Rhode for a long three-point shot. He bricked it over the backboard, actually over the rim and off the far side of the backboard. Rebound to Weber. Back they come in the left corner and front court to my right. Greg Boyd. He spins out to the left wing. Bounce the pass down low. Schofield from the baseline. A 12-foot shot. Air ball. Davis rebounds for Idaho State. A 3-on-2 fast break. Troy Miles on the left. To Davis baseline left. 6-foot shot. Swish. George Davis, a very slow developing fast break for Idaho State, but the Bengals do get it to work eventually. 17:50 left first half. It's 4-2 Idaho State. Rico Washington on the right wing with it for Weber State. Out between the circles to Greg Boyd, and Jim Rhode takes the ball away. They'll call a held ball. Great defense from ISU, and what else would you expect? The Bengals play terrific defense, along with Boise State, probably the two best defensive clubs in the Big Sky Conference. So Rhode ties up Boyd out front, and on the alternating possession rule, it's ISU ball, leading 4-2 with it in front court to my left. Troy Miles way out deep on the left wing, throws up a long 22-foot shot that rolls off the iron, no good, and a foul on the rebound. Quickly, that's 2 fouls against Darren Alleman of Idaho State. So 2 fouls in the game, both against Darren Alleman, who is 6'9", 225, and a sophomore from Laramie, Wyoming. And that prompts Idaho State coach Jim Botan to bring Rodney Harris over to the scorer's table. They'd like to get him in for Alleman at the first available break. 4-2 Idaho State. Weber with the ball in front court to my right. Near the midcourt stripe on the right side, Gibbs. Gibbs to Rico Washington on the right wing. Rico back out between the circles to Timmy Gibbs. Timmy, don't call me Tim Gibbs. Pass the ball to Boyd deep in the left corner for a 3-point shot. Rolls off the iron, no good. And Jim Rhode with the rebound for Idaho State. He'll leave the ball out to Troy Miles, and Miles will slowly walk the ball out of backcourt across the timeline right to left, straight ahead. Pass the ball to Rhode. Rhode on the left sideline to Davis. Back out left to the key to Brown. Brown at the free throw line to Alleman. One bounce to the ball. Now he cuts through the lane. Man-to-man defense extended for Weber. Chase Brown for Idaho State at the top of the circle. Overhead pass to Miles in the right corner. To Alleman. Spins into the lane. A little finger roll, no good, but he gets his own miss. He missed the putback, a short 3-foot shot. Rico Washington rebounds. The outlet pass to Greg Boyd, dribbling with the left hand. Leaves the ball out to Rico Washington, who dribbles a couple of times with the left hand himself. And again back to Greg Boyd. between the circles. Bounce pass near the top of the key is knocked away by Rhode, but re-stolen by Schofield for Weaver. Down low to Washington, drives in from the right, misses a 6-foot shot, gets his own rebound, and has the reverse lay-in as he falls down over George Eddie Davis. No foul called, and I don't think any was warranted that time, but it was kind of a helter-skelter play. Washington scores it. We're tied at 4 with 16:14 to play in the first half. Idaho State with it against a man defense, half court for Weaver. Darren Alleman at the top of the circle. Snaps the pass on the left out front to Troy Miles. Miles leaves it off to Chase Brown. Brown in turn at the top of the key to Davis. Davis finds Jim Rhode on the left wing for a long three-point shot. Good! Jim Rhode, the junior from Portland, Oregon, his first points tonight on that three-pointer. He was last year's Big Sky Conference postseason basketball tournament MVP. 7-4, ISU by 3. Rico Washington in the low post. Missed a 6-foot shot from right of the lane. Gets his own offensive rebound. Battles with it in the paint. As he put the ball to the floor, there's a reach-in foul called against one of the Bengals. Now 15:40 to play in the first half. Make that 7-4 is our score. Idaho State by 3, and the last foul against Idaho State will go against George Davis. That's his first foul, and the third team foul against the Bengals in the first 4.5 minutes. Weber State ball in front court to my right. Playing the ball in from the baseline. Schofield way out high on the left near the midcourt stripe to Gibbs. Gives to Rico Washington at the top of the key. Back to the basket. Now squares up. Bounce the pass to Boyd in the left corner. Rhode has him man-to-man. That's a good matchup. They don't like one another. Greg Boyd dribbling with the ball now on the left at midcourt to Timmy Gibbs, who spins and weaves and passes to Washington on the right wing. Rico tries to get around his man George Davis, but can't do it. Man defense for Idaho State. That will be the case throughout. On the right wing, Timmy Gibbs drives to the free throw line, spins, bounce the pass to Schofield deep in the paint. It's knocked out of bounds, and they'll say last touch by Idaho State. 15:09 to play in the first half. 7-4 our score. Idaho State with the lead. Sort of an inauspicious beginning to this game. Not a whole lot of tempo to it. Greg Boyd takes the inbound pass on the right wing. A long three-point shot. Rims in and out. And Rodney Harris, who is in for Darren Alleman, with the board for ISU. Harris is 6'5", 185, and a senior from Gary, Indiana. Don't get me singing. Off on the left in front court, George Davis for Idaho State. Top of the key to Davis. Now to Jim Rhode on the left wing for a long three-point shot. It's short off the front lip. Long rebound at the free throw line. Timmy Gibbs has it. He runs over Rhode and a foul called. I think Rhode's going to get the foul for a block. This is not unusual. Idaho State has a tendency to get a lot of fouls because of its very active defensive style. The foul goes against Rhode, his first, team foul number 4 against Idaho State. Weber has yet to pick up a foul in the half. 14:45 to play. Jim Rhode will go out. Rico Washington already with 5 rebounds for Weber State in the first 5 minutes or so. Rhode is out, and Michael Green is in for him at an Idaho State guard position. Washington with the ball for Weber State on the right wing. At the free throw line to Gibbs for a shot that's high out the back iron. Battle for the rebound. Some of the fans thought there might have been offensive basket interference as Chase Brown with the rebound to Troy Miles. He drives all the way to the right wing in front court. In the right corner for a shot up by Davis, no good. A tip out of bounds by Brown. Last touched by Weber State. The ball goes to the Bengals in front court. 14-17 left in the first half. Again, the three-man officiating crew of Frank Bissoni, Dan Nixich, and William Kennedy with the call. And Kennedy with the ball, handing the ball now to Troy Miles, who will trigger it in underneath the Idaho State basket. Miles plays it in on the right sideline to Michael Green. Green with Michael Jordan shoes to Troy Miles on the right for a long three-point shot. High up the iron. Washington skies for the rebound, but a foul on the rebound against Idaho State. It's possible that they just called the ball off the top of the backboard, and that's exactly what's happened. Frank Bissoni, the trail official out front, said the ball hit the top of the backboard, and when that's the case, it's dead and out of bounds to the opposing team. Troy Miles leaves the ISU lineup, and Aaron Grizel is in. He's 6'1" and a sophomore from San Francisco, California. 7-4 the score, Idaho State by 3, and a steal out front by ISU. Chase Brown with the ball at the midcourt stripe, and as he tries to blow by his defensive man, a foul called against Weber to prevent the sure driving lay-in the other way. The foul will go against Fred Rollin. That's Rollin's first. The first team foul called against the Wildcats of the half. Calvin Glenn comes in for Rollin at a forward spot for Weber. Glenn is 6'4" and a junior from Waterbury, Connecticut. We're inside 14 minutes to play, and we haven't had a whole lot to talk about. 7-4 Idaho State with the lead in the ball. Michael Green on the right wing. Snaps the pass out top to Rodney Harris. He cuts through the lane, passes on the left himself to George Davis. Davis to Aaron Grizel. Grizel to Chase Brown. Brown hands the ball out between the circles to George Davis. Davis snaps the pass on the right to Aaron Grizel. Back out top of the key to Davis. Davis on the left wing to Brown. Brown back out top to Grizel. On the left wing, it goes again to Green. To Harris, top of the key. Good ball movement. The clock inside now 14. They get the ball in the lane to Chase Brown for a bank shot straight on that's good. Chase Brown, first basket tonight for Idaho State. Brown is averaging over 12.5 points a game. Makes it 9-4 ISU. That was about a 6-foot banker. 13-13 to play with ISU leading by 5. Rico Washington for Weber on the right wing. Near the right sideline to Timmy Gibbs. Cutters come through the lane. Screen set down low as Jeff Schofield gets the ball off the right of the lane for a 10-foot bank. Perfect. Schofield with the high UCLA bank shot, and why not? When your head coach played for 3 years and started for 3 years at UCLA under legendary coach John Wooden, that's Larry Farmer, who is now the head coach for Weber State. At the free throw line, George Davis for Idaho State takes a shot, no good. The ball is knocked out of bounds by Weber in an effort to rebound. Idaho State will have it underneath its own basket. So Schofield with the basket a second ago for Weber State. Averaging about 10 a game overall for the season. 12:43 now to play in the half. It's 9-6. Idaho State by 3. Gordon Beam comes in for George Davis for Idaho State, and Dr. Jim Botan, the coach of the Bengals, is really trying to get some players in there to be fresh. Rodney Harris takes a lob pass in the lane, missed a 6-footer. Washington rebounds, long outlet pass. Timmy Gibbs comes back the other way for Weber. A 6-foot bank from the left, no good, and a weak side rebound to Aaron Grizel, the guard for ISU, and he'll walk the ball slowly with the high yo-yo left-handed dribble across the timeline right to left. Grizel, the left-hander, snaps the pass to Michael Green on the right wing to Grizel, and Weber State's gone to a half-court zone. It's a 2-3 at the free throw line. Rodney Harris feeds it in the right corner to Michael Green for a long three-point shot for ISU. No. Cleaning the glass for Weber State is Calvin Glenn. And Bucci Cobb apparently getting ready to come in for Weber State, possibly. Jeff Schofield with the ball, baseline left, gets the ball in the paint on a nice bounce pass to Washington, and he banks it in. Rico Washington with 4 already. The redshirt junior from Philadelphia, PA, is 6'7", 220. Was a second-team JC All-America 2 years ago. Redshirted at Weber State last season. 9-8 now, Idaho State by a point. Bengals with it. Aaron Grizel trying to attack that 2-3 Weber State half-court zone to Michael Green for a long shot off the left wing. No. Ripping down the board, Jeff Schofield to Timmy Gibbs, left to right all the way to the baseline. He's triple-teamed, knocked to the floor, and a foul called against Idaho State. Aaron Grizel, subscribing to that theory, if you're going to foul someone, you might as well make it count. And my Lord, he really took a shot at Timmy Gibbs. We'll have an official timeout with 11:32 to play in the first half. We'll have free throws when we come back following the foul on Rodney Harris of Idaho State. Harris with his first foul, team foul number 5 against the commercial timeout. We'll now go to the free throw line. Gibbs, a 6'3 junior from Brooklyn, New York. A 75% free throw shooter. He's made 57 of 76 free throw attempts so far this season. And he rolls the first one off the rim, off the backboard, and good. So Gibbs with his first point tonight. He had 2 points in the first half last night, and then erupted for 20 in the second half and overtime. Gibbs eyes the basket. Very deliberate free throw shooter. That one, swish. So Gibbs 2 for 2 from the line on that exchange. Weber takes the lead at 10-9 with 11:28 to play in the first half. Aaron Grizel for Idaho State passes on the left to Rhode, back to Grizel now on the right wing to Corey Bruce, just checked in. Between the circles to Grizel, overhead pass to Jim Rhode. Rhode drives from the left wing into the corner. A short lateral to Gordon Beam, drives to the left baseline, loops the pass to Bruce out top. To Rhode on the right wing again to Bruce. Bruce on the left to Aaron Grizel for a long three-point shot. Good! Aaron Grizel, a fine long-range shooter. Troy Miles is on the bench, and Weber back in a hurry from the right baseline. The shot up and good from Calvin Glenn, the left-hander. Calvin Glenn hits a 15-foot shot off the right baseline to give Weber State a quick bucket. Tie the game at a dozen apiece. Weber State with a quick hand on the ball. Timmy Gibbs knocks it out toward the far sideline in front court for ISU. Retrieved by Aaron Grizel, who brings the ball over to Jim Rhode on the left wing. It's an extended 2-3 half-court zone for Weber that's worked pretty well. Grizel at the top of the circle. Snaps the pass to Rhode on the left wing, free throw line extended. The front two defensive players for Weber are Boyd and Gibbs, their two guards. Bruce with it on the right wing for Idaho State. To Harris in the right corner, back out top for a long three, and Grizel hits it. Aaron Grizel Back-to-back three-pointers makes it 15-12 Idaho State, and maybe the scoring pace is going to pick up some. Timmy Gibbs for Weber State is really hounded on the right by Aaron Grizel, and it's going to be a 5-second call against Weber State. Gibbs had nowhere to go on the right wing near the sideline, about 25 feet away from the basket. Grizel was applying some great defensive pressure right in his face, and Gibbs couldn't even have a chance to throw the ball off the defender out of bounds. So, on the turnover, it's Idaho State ball in its home white uniforms, trimmed in orange and black. Corey Bruce on the right wing. Out front it goes to Grizel. Grizel to Jim Rhode on the left wing. Bounce the pass at the free throw line for a shot by Rodney Harris, and Harris scores. Harris just inside the free throw line. He hits it for the ISU Bengals and gives them a 17-12 lead. Harris, a fine player, averaging about 9 points and almost 5 rebounds a game this season. Off on the right wing for Weber, 2 by right in front court. Rico Washington back to the basket now, squares up. Bounce the pass to Greg Boyd out at the top of the key, and Rhode's on him like glue. Boyd dribbles with the left hand near the sideline of midcourt. Bounce the pass at the top of the key to Anthony McGowan, one of the stars of last night. He gives on the right wing for a shot that rims off too strongly, and a rebound along the baseline again to Grizel, who already has a couple of boards for Idaho State off the bench at a backed-up guard spot. 9:10 to play in the first half. Idaho State 17-12 leaders over Weber State. A shot off the left baseline by Gordon Bean, a fadeaway 14-foot variety. Washington grabs another rebound. Rico with 7 boards already for Weber State in the first 11 minutes of the half. Baseline right. Calvin Glenn, double pump 10-foot shot, rolls off the rim. No. Gordon Bean rebounds for Idaho State. Dribbles a couple of times and hands it back of him with a short pass to Aaron Grizel, who in turn gallops right to left across the timeline. Snaps the pass down the left baseline. Harris all alone drives the hoop, and he lays it off the glass for 2, and a foul called against Weber State. Rodney Harris kind of looked like the kid looking at the candy in the store and not seeing anybody around and maybe kind of grabbing a handful. He was down there on the left baseline. Weber State didn't check him off, and he just drove to the basket and said, you know, it's not even this easy in practice. Foul called against Calvin Glenn of Weber State. That's his first, and the Wildcats' second team foul of the half. And Harris, with 4 points in the game, will go to the free throw line. He's a right-handed shooter and draws nothing but nets. Harris is not that good of a free throw shooter for the season, but he picks up his 5th point with the conventional 3-point play there. And it's now 20-12 as Idaho State steals the ball out front in backcourt. Going to the free throw line, Chase Brown on a drive to Jim Rhode, and Rhode gets a short layup. It dances on the rim and then down the chute for ISU. And Weber State, after leading 10-9, has just been blown out. A steal by Idaho State. The great defense. Chase Brown back to the basketball tournament from the Britt Breeden Fieldhouse, Max Worthington Arena in Bozeman. Weber State has gone to the bench with Shane Gardner now at a guard position, driving from backcourt left to right, down 22-12 on the Wildcats. He bounced the pass baseline right for Glenn. It's a steal from behind by Aaron Grizel on the fast break the other way on the left wing. Jim Rhode hands it back to them to Grizel, and now against a man defense for Weber State, Rhode gets the ball on the left wing. Down low to George Eddie Davis for a baseline jumper, good. Davis with the 8-foot jump shot. Davis now has 6 points. Weber State comes back down 24-12. Idaho State has scored 12 straight points. Anthony McGowan for Weber State with a cross-court pass to Greg Boyd on the left wing. Head and shoulder fake. Now goes up with a 3-point shot. Missed it short off the iron. Battle for the rebound. Last touch by Calvin Glenn of Weber State over the back of Chase Brown. And it's Idaho State ball. Again, in the last 3 minutes or so, Idaho State has outscored Weber 12-0. And with 7:42 to play in the first half from the Fieldhouse in game 3 of the tournament, it's Idaho State 24 and Weber State 12. But bear in mind, the Wildcats trailed big to Nevada Reno last night and still won in overtime. For ISU against a man-to-man half-court Weber State defense, a travel call by Aaron Grizel at the top of the circle for Idaho State. So on the turnover, Weber will get the ball back. Greg Boyd has already missed 3 3-point shots tonight. Boyd last night set a Big Sky Conference postseason tournament record by filling it up to the tune of 31 total points and 9 of 13 in 3-pointers. At the top of the circle, Boyd. Bounce the pass to Schofield on the right. Drives to the baseline, all the way to the hook. Missed a 5-foot shot. And a foul called on Schofield of Weber State. Or charging into one of the guys down low for Idaho State. It was Chase Brown who took the charge. Player control foul on Schofield. His first, the Wildcats' 3rd team foul of the half. Everything's coming up Bengals right now. Idaho State 24. Weber State 12 with 7:13 left in the first half. Grizel angles to his right across the timeline, right to left, to Jim Rhode at the top of the circle. Now a high post to Rodney Harris.
Harris passes across the free throw circle on the left to Chase Brown. Brown at the free throw line to Rodney Harris. That's George Eddie Davis, pardon me. And Davis missed the shot off the rim. Ball knocked out of bounds in the rebounding action to Idaho State. With the exception of Rico Washington, who's not in right now, just checks back in for Anthony McGowan at the power forward position for Weber State. The rebounding battle being won by Idaho State. Washington with a great start, 7 boards. He has 4 points to go along with them. Greg Boyd is out of the Weber lineup, and Moochie Cobb will come in. Aaron Grizel is out, and Troy Miles in at one of the guards for Idaho State. And Miles will trigger the ball in underneath his own basket to my left. Bobs it out on the left wing to Chase Brown. Bound in the left corner to Troy Miles. Miles back out top to Brown, and they swing the ball on the right wing to Rodney Harris. Harris top of the key to Jim Rhode. He rifles the pass on the left wing to Brown. Goes to the free throw line, fakes the shot, but doesn't take it. Brown with it out high on the left wing to Jim Rhode at the top of the key. Drill drive down the left of the lane, and a foul called on a reach-in against Shane Gardner of Weber State. So Rhode made the penetration and draws the foul on Gardner. Gardner's first. He's a 6'3 senior from Ogden. He walked on the team last year and then was invited back to play again this year as a senior. Excelled as a Weber State JV player, and then Larry Farmer said, well, we need some outside scoring. We'll give you a look. 4th team foul called against Weber State in the first half. And on the inbounds pass from Miles to George Davis, Jeff Schofield bumps Davis out of bounds. A blocking foul on Schofield. That's Schofield's second foul, and quickly the 5th team foul called against Weber State in the first half. 6:37 to play opening half, still 24-12 Idaho State. The game has really not found a tempo of its own. Miles looking in the lane. Everybody bunched in the lane. A pass out on the left wing for Chase Brown, and it's tipped out of bounds to the near sideline by Schofield. Idaho State maintains control. Jim Rhode will play it in from the near sideline to my left in front court for ISU to Chase Brown. Brown between the circles to Troy Miles. Miles drives it off on the right wing and reads it off to George Davis. Two-handed chest pass to Chase Brown. Again, man defense half court for Weber. Baseline right, Chase Brown for Idaho State to Jim Rhode, who drives in from the right wing and misses the driving shot. Ball saved from going out of bounds by Calvin Glenn on the left. Out of backcourt, left to right, Shane Gardner for Weber State. Bounce the pass to Moochie Cobb on the right wing. A long three-point shot. He buries it. Moochie Cobb. Paxton Moochie Cobb, a 6-foot junior from Stamford, Connecticut, with his first points tonight on that three-pointer. He had an aunt that called him Moochie when he was a baby, and the name has stuck. 24-15, Idaho State by 9. Alley-oop pass. Rhode to Brown. Layup for 2. Jim Rhode with a nice rim-high pass over the Weber State defense, and Brown receives the benefit in the form of a hoop. He has 4 points in the game, 26-15 Idaho State. Tenacious man-to-man defense half-court for Idaho State. Weber State just scored the first points in the last shot by Cobb in the last 5 minutes for the Wildcats. Moochie Cobb in the right corner for Weber. Drives out of the corner with the left-hand dribble all the way to the free throw line. Spins into the lane. Passes to Schofield, who turns to the baseline for a 10-foot fadeaway shot. Can't get it to go. Rhode rebounds and may have traveled, but no such call. And Jim Rhode dribbles with the left hand now. A long bounce pass across the 10-second line, right to left to Troy Miles. Miles spins and weaves and goes down the left of the lane, throws up the shot. A banker on the run. The 8-foot shot doesn't go. Glenn rebounds for Weber State. Helter-skelter basketball. Glenn, cross-court pass to Cobb on the right wing. Down low to Washington. Baseline right, drives in, leans in for a 4-foot bank shot and gets it. Rico Washington now has 6 points for Weber State. The Wildcats, with their never-say-die team, trail 26-17 at the 4:50 mark of the first half. Idaho State nearly throws the ball away. George Davis had the ball go right off his hands, and a pass from Miles. Rodney Harris drives into the lane from the free throw line, leans in for the 10-foot shot, missed it, and a foul on the rebound. Shane Gardner was pushed out of the way for Weber in the paint, and a foul will go against Idaho State. The Bengals picked up 5 early team fouls and hadn't committed one in the late going. And this foul will go against Rodney Harris, trying to rebound his own miss. Harris picks up his second foul, team foul number 6 against ISU, and we have identification. This is the 1988 Big Sky Conference postseason tournament.
You're listening to Big Sky Conference tournament action on 1450 KXXL Bozeman, your Gallatin Valley Sports Connection.
Fred Rollin with it for Weber State on the right wing. Nearly throws the ball away on the right at midcourt to Shane Gardner, but Gardner retrieves. Passes again to Fred Rollin on the right wing. A miniature Charles Barkley. Rollin breaks to the hoop for a possible alley-oop. Gardner drives to the free throw line. Passes on the left wing to a spinning Moochie Cobb for a 15-footer off the free throw line. No good. Washington had the rebound momentarily, stripped away from behind by Jim Rhode, and either a foul has been called or will be out of bounds simply to Weber State, and the latter is true. 4:07 left, first half. from Bozeman, the Brook Breeden Fieldhouse team. 3 of the Big Sky tourney. Idaho State 26, Weber State 17. The winner plays Boise State tomorrow night in the first semifinal game. At the high post free throw line, front court to my right, Jeff Schofield. Way off on the left to Greg Floyd. No, it's Shane Gardner. Check me. Shane Gardner with the ball on the left wing, and he pops the three-pointer in. Gardner, the senior from Ogden, Utah, has the three-pointer for Weber State, makes it 26-20, Idaho State. And here come the Wildcats again. Chase Brown for Idaho State on the right wing for the Bengals in front court to my left. Plays it off near the right sideline, still in front court to Aaron Grizel. Grizel to George Lee Davis. He hands the ball off to Chase Brown at the top of the circle. To Jim Rhode on the left wing. Rhode's pass inside is kicked out of bounds by Shane Gardner. It's a man-to-man defense for Weber State, and the Wildcats bring Anthony McGowan along with Calvin Glenn in, take Jeff Schofield and Fred Rollin out. So the man defense for Weber, as Idaho State will play it in. Grizel is the trigger man underneath his basket, plays it in to George Davis, and Davis has the ball stripped free from behind by Calvin Glenn. Again, out of bounds, same location to ISU underneath its own basket to my left. Grizel looks in the lane, screens are set, guys cut through the lane. He finds Chase Brown on the left for a wide open 12-footer, no good, and a foul on the rebound over the back. Luke Cobb was inside for the rebound for Weber State, and the foul goes against Idaho State, trying to rebound over the 6-foot Cobb. The foul on Rhode, his second. Team foul number 7 against Idaho State in the first half, and at the 3:25 mark of the half, Weber State will be in the bonus. Luke Cobb will go to the free throw line for the Weber State Wildcats. Cobb shoots 72.5% from the free throw line. Foul shot up, rolls around and down, good. He's now 30 of 41 from the line this season. Cobb has his 4th point tonight on his first free throw, both the 10th that he made. Nice deep breath from the junior. And he gets it from Stamford, Connecticut. He hits both free throws, and Weber State making a nice comeback now, down 26-22. They were down 24-12 not too long ago. A Walter Payton high step by Aaron Grizel of Idaho State into front court right to left to George Davis, top of the circle. And Idaho State seems to be moving fairly well. To Jim Rhode on the right. He drives to the baseline and is fouled along the way by Shane Gardner. Gardner fouls on a reach-in. That's his second personal foul and the 6th team foul against Weber in the first half. Gordon Bean is back up off the Idaho State bench, and he'll want to enter and will be allowed to do so, replacing Rodney Harris. Bean is yet to score. Harris has 5. 6 points apiece for Grizel and Davis for Idaho State. Grizel plays the ball into Rhode on the right for a 12-foot shot. Too strong over the iron. The rebound to Davis, baseline left underneath the hoop. He misses a 5-foot shot on the putback. The ball's in the lane, wide open, and taken by Jim Rhode. Rhode is fouled as he drives into the hoop. It's a weird exchange of plays. Weber was not able to grab the rebound. Rico Washington is in the game for the Wildcats, but was unable to grab the loose ball, and Rhode got it, and he was fouled by Calvin Glenn. Glenn's second personal foul. That's the 7th team foul against Weber of the half. And now with 3 minutes and 4 seconds to play, both teams will be in the bonus the rest of the half. Rhode will go to the free throw line, where he's shooting 59% overall this season and 65% in Big Sky games. He'll have the pair. He's a left-hander, a junior from Portland, Oregon, Putnam High School, and he hits the free throw for his 6th first half point. Bengals have nice point distribution here in the first half, with Rhode, Grizel, and Davis 6 points apiece. The left-hander for the next free throw, up and down, good. So Rhode breaks the ice for ISU. The Bengals haven't scored in a while. They make it 28-22 with 2:58 to play. Rico Washington in the right corner for Weber State. Rico scored for 6 points in the half. Back out front to Luke Cobb. Top of the high post. And Glenn tries to beat down low, and a steal by Rhode. Long pass up ahead, right to left into front court to Chase Brown. Brown is fouled from behind. Brown may have had a tough time running that ball down, but Weber State tried to prevent the transition basket by Idaho State. Fouled, and Chase Brown will go to the free throw line. The foul is on Calvin Glenn of Weber. That's his 3rd foul, the first player for either team to reach the 3-foul plateau. Michael Green comes in replacing Jim Rhode at a guard spot for Idaho State. Quickly back in for the Weber State Wildcats, Fred Rollin for Calvin Glenn. Kind of interchangeable parts. Each is 6'4". So to the line for Idaho State, Chase Brown, free throw up. The front end of a 1-and-1 is good. He's a 67% free throw shooter, and he too is shooting better in Big Sky games at 72%. As a team, ISU 66.2%. Brown now has 5 points. Second free throw rolls around and dances on the rim before finally settling in good. So Brown now has 6. Seems like everybody on this team has 6 points for Idaho State. 30-22 Bengals with 2:40 to play in the half. For Weber State, driving toward the right corner. Uchi Cobb off the pass in the paint. Washington drives in. A short finger roll doesn't drop on a foul called against Idaho State. Washington got the low post position. And the Montana State coaching staff will tell you that once Washington gets his hands on the ball cleanly down low, you might as well either foul him or give him the 2 points. He is really tough inside. Foul on Chase Brown, that's his first, and Washington will go to the foul line. He has 6 points in the game. Not an especially good free throw shooter, 63%, and he misses his first try right there. He has attempted 243 free throws this season. That is amazing. Close to a Weber State single-season record in that category, but Washington does hit the next free throw. He's 1 for 2 from the line, makes it 30-23. Idaho State by 7 with 2.5 to play in the half. Gordon Bean near the 28-foot hash mark on the right for Idaho State to a driving Chase Brown for the layup. Chase Brown drove the heart of the lane and got the finger roll lane. He now has 8 points to lead the Bengals, 32-23, Idaho State by 9. Tenacious man-to-man defense by ISU. Rico Washington at a high post at the free throw line for Weber. Out on the right wing to Muchi Cobb. Cobb checked man-to-man by Aaron Brazell. Cobb passes for the right corner to Rico Washington. Out front to Shane Gardner. Michael Green has him. All these Bengals can play D. In the right corner, Muchi Cobb drives from the corner into the lane. A running 10-foot shot swish. Muchi Cobb. If for no other reason, you like to pull for this guy because of his nickname. 32-25 with a minute and 45 seconds to play in the first half. A nice change of pace dribble by Aaron Brazell for Idaho State into front court to my left. They swing the ball on the right wing to Michael Green. Out top to George Davis. Davis on the left wing to Brown. Brown to Aaron Brazell out top with 1:31 left in the game clock. And the shot clock's inside 23. Gordon Bean top of the key. McGowan has him. Man defense for Weber. Pass to Brown near the left corner. Back out front again to Aaron Brazell. Brazell to Chase Brown. Good patience by Idaho State. The Bengals leading by 7. Gordon Bean rifles the pass in the right corner with the shot clock waning. And the long three-point shot by Brazell from the corner won't go. Washington with a rebound. He already has 9. Weber comes back down 32-25 with a minute 3 to play in the half. Shane Gardner for Weber. Spins, bounce the pass down low. Washington drives in for the right. He missed the layup. Rebound to Gordon Bean of Idaho State. Washington just lost track, I think, of where he was. He only had about a 3-foot banker as he leaned in, but he missed it. 32-25 with 46 seconds to play in the half. The shot clock's still on, about a 3-second differential. And Gordon Bean, off the right side of the key for Idaho State, tries to spin around Anthony McGowan. And McGowan practically ripped his jersey off. Foul on McGowan. Fred Rollin goes out of the Weber lineup, and Curtis Williams is going to come in for Weber State. Bear in mind that the Wildcats have Calvin Glenn, one of their first players off the bench, who already has 3 fouls. Williams comes in. He's a 6'5 sophomore from Compton, California. So the foul does go against Weber State. It's on McGowan. That's his first. And at the free throw line, Gordon Bean, he shoots, he scores, but a whistle. And let's check to see what this might be all about. Dan Nixit's the official down low, talking to Frank Bassoni, the referee, and Frank will come on over. And apparently a lane violation against Idaho State. They're going to wipe out the free throw. Now are they going to give him another free throw? Frank Bassoni had made the indication that it was Weber State ball, and now the guys in the striped shirts don't know what they're doing, and we're going to have Bassoni overruling his 2 umpires, and they'll give the ball to Weber State. I have no idea what that's about. It has to be a lane violation on the front end of a 1-and-1, which would give the ball out of bounds to Weber. Anyway, the 45-second shot clock is off. It's Idaho State 32 and Weber State 25, and Cobb dribbles left to right across the midcourt stripe, dribbling all the way to the left sideline and toward the corner, picked up by Bean there. Lobs it toward the lane from McGowan, tipped away, taken by Cobb, back in the left corner. He spins, he weaves, he hits a bank shot and got it! Off the glass from 12 feet away, angle left at the 22nd mark. Cobb has 9 in the game, and it's 32-27. This is deja vu from last night. Brazell right to left across the 10-second line for Idaho State. The Bengals have it with 8 seconds to play. Gordon Bean at the top of the key. Man defense on the left. Michael Green, head and shoulder fake. Moves in a step on the left. A 12-foot shot. Short off the front. Lift. Ball on the floor. Rebound comes down to Muchi Cobb at the buzzer. And there you have it, folks. Weber State, as it did last night, trailing by
Idaho State 32, Weber State 27. The Bengals come out with Troy Miles and Jim Rhode at guards, Rodney Harris, Chase Brown, and Darren Alleman up front. Harris is the lone change from the original starting five. George Davis is not out there to start the second half, and Idaho State starts with the ball. A nice juke step dribble across the timeline, left to right into front court for Idaho State to Jim Rhode. That was by Miles. Now to Rodney Harris at the top of the key. He looks to his left. He dribbles a couple of times and hands it back to Jim Rhode. Rhode one bounces the ball to Chase Brown, who dribbles with his right hand to direct traffic with his left. Another handoff behind him at the top of the key to Harris. Harris to Troy Miles near the right corner. Dribbles a couple of times, is left all alone. His man falls down. He takes a three-point shot, missed it. Whistle and a foul on the rebound. Weber State has come out with Moochie Cobb, who scored 9 points to lead the Wildcats in the first half at guard, along with Greg Boyd. Calvin Glenn playing with 3 fouls up front, along with Rico Washington. And I'm still searching for Jeff Schofield. He's out there as well. The foul goes against Idaho State's Darren Alleman, and he has a penchant for fouls. That's his third. He got his first 2 early in the game. Rico Washington for Weber in front court to my left in the second half. Drives to the left baseline, hands it in back of him in the right corner to Jeff Schofield. Schofield with the bounce pass to Moochie Cobb out on the right sideline, and a foul called as Schofield released the bounce pass. It goes against Rodney Harris. Harris with his third personal foul, the second team foul of the second half against Idaho State, and the Bengals continue their trend. They got early team fouls in the first half. They do the same thing here with a couple in the first 45 seconds of the second half. 32-27 ISU by 5. The 8th-seeded Weber State Wildcats will play the ball in from the far sideline at midcourt. Calvin Glenn will do the honors. From the 28-foot hash mark or so, Weber State, the visiting team on the scoreboard in royal purple, trimmed in white uniforms. Home white for Idaho State as Weber plays the ball into Moochie Cobb between the circles in triple threat position. Rifles the pass to Boyd in the right corner for a three-point shot that rolls around. No, but Washington gives way to Calvin Glenn for the tip. Calvin Glenn flies in from the left of the lane and gets the putback tip. Glenn now has 4 points. First, second half basket either way. 32-29 Idaho State by 3. Bengals with the ball. Alleman, the redhead, pass off on the left wing to Chase Brown. Dribbles once and hands it in back of him to Jim Rhode. This is a motion offense for Idaho State against a man-to-man Weber State defense. Rodney Harris lobs the ball in the left corner to Miles for a three-point shot. Bricks off, no. Harris rebounds, off-balance 5-foot putback, no. Gets his own rebound again, throws it up a fourth time, and a foul finally called. Now I think we may have a held ball situation. That is the call. Nice defense by Weber State down low. Harris had nowhere to go, and on the alternating possession arrow, the ball goes to Weber State. A three-pointer by the Wildcats, and we have a tie game. Moochie Cobb, hesitation dribble across the timeline, angling to his right. Gets a bounce pass back from Schofield and takes a long three-point shot. He missed it. Battle for the rebound. An attempted tip by Glenn is no good, and Glenn may have been called for a foul. He and Schofield, fellow teammates for Weber State, were battling with Chase Brown. And the foul goes against Glenn. Glenn has picked up his 4th foul at the 18-15 mark of the game. Bear that one in mind. First team foul against Weber the second half. It's still 32-29. Troy Miles is really bouncing that ball low to the ground with the right-hand dribble. Now to Rodney Harris off the right side of the key. Left point of the free throw line to Chase Brown. Brown at the right point of the free throw line to Alleman. Alleman bounced the pass to Troy Miles off his shoe out to midcourt and out of bounds. It would have been a backcourt violation nonetheless, but it's out of bounds at midcourt along the far sideline to Weber State. And the Wildcats take Calvin Glenn out, and they bring Fred Rollin in. We've talked about Fred Rollin in earlier MSU broadcasts when the Bobcats have played Weber State. Rollin is referred to as a miniature Charles Barkley of the NBA's Philadelphia 76ers. The guy is put together at 6'4", 220. He holds the ball on the right wing, has a big pad on his right elbow, passes out top to Cobb. Cobb in the lane to Schofield, turns for a jump hook. It's short off the lip. A tip by Washington. No, a tip by Washington a second time. He missed it, but a foul called against Idaho State. So Weber, which won the battle of the boards in the first half, 19-16, comes out with a penchant here in the second half for getting on the glass, and a foul called against ISU. It's its 3rd team foul and the 4th personal on Alleman. Each team now has a guy with 4 fouls. And Alleman leaves with his 4th and has been replaced up front by George Davis. Not sure why Davis didn't start the second half. He has 6 points. Talented senior from Vallejo, California, who's a good leaper. Rico Washington to the free throw line. He cans the first try. That's his 8th point of the game, and Washington is 2 for 3 from the foul line tonight. A 63% foul shooter, draws the bead. He's a guy who's not quite 23 years old, looks like he might be 35. Receding hairline and all. He hits the second free throw. It makes it 32-31. Idaho State by a point. Out left of the key in front court to my right, Jim Rhode for Idaho State. To Harris at a high post. Off on the left to Chase Brown. Drives in toward the lane. A bank shot off the 8-foot mark. No good. And Rick Boyd rebounds for Weber State. Back he comes. A 3-on-3 fast break. He pulls up at the free throw line. Laterals the ball back to Jeff Schofield. He drives to the top of the key. Shoots. It's strong off the back rim. Rhode rebounds. Falls to the floor as he lobs the pass to Troy Miles, who drives in from the left. Miles in the lane to Rodney Harris. He missed the bunny layup. And the rebound to Fred Rowland. Back comes Greg Boyd. Transition the other way. Right to left. Boyd travels, but no call. Passes to Jeff Schofield near the right sideline. Schofield bounces the pass to Washington. Misses the layup inside. Offensive foul. Rico Washington taking the charge. Chase Brown for Idaho State. Nicely done by Brown, who has now taken 2 charges tonight. Coaches love that. The foul on Washington, his first tonight. The junior from Philadelphia, PA. We talked about Rico Washington being a second-team JC All-America out east 2 years ago. He played high school basketball in a very good league in Philadelphia. 16:45 to play in the game. George Davis for Idaho State. Out to the top of the key to Jim Rhode off the right side of the key to a cutting Chase Brown into the lane. A double pump 8-foot shot. Too strong. A tip by Harris is too strong from 4 feet off. And a foul called on the third offensive try on a rebound for Idaho State, apparently against Weber State. By the way, the last foul on Washington, his first, that's the second Weber State team foul to get you all caught up. ISU has 3, and now Weber State also has 3, as Schofield is called for the foul. So just as soon as I say Weber State is going to crash the boards, Idaho State does the same thing. Schofield's third team foul called against Weber in the second half, and Idaho State at the end line in front court to my right plays the ball into Chase Brown on the right wing. Man defense. Brown is guarded by Schofield, who's much bigger than he is. At 6'10", Brown 6'3". Bounce the pass between the circles at midcourt, dribbling near the Bobcat head here at the Brick Breeden Fieldhouse, Troy Miles. He gets it to Chase Brown on the right wing. Brown, top of the key to Rodney Harris. Harris off on the right side of the key to Rhode. Drives in inside the free throw line, and the running 10-footer straight on goes. Rhode is one of those guys who, once he gets into a groove, you better watch out. He's got 9 now in the game after a quick start in the first half. 34-31, Idaho State finally scores its first points of the second half, 4 minutes into it. Moochie Cobb dribbling on the right wing for Weber. Guarded by Miles, man-to-man. Cobb puts a nice move on him. Leans in for a bank shot. Too strong. Washington offensive rebound. Put back. It's good off the glass. I think they're going to call the shot off, though, and call a foul against Idaho State on the rebound. Washington muscled up inside, and we have Rico Washington now for an even dozen rebounds tonight. He averaged over 10 a game to lead the Big Sky in that category this season. The foul goes against Idaho State. George Davis, his second. Team foul number 4 against ISU. Greg Boyd will leave the lineup for Weber. Shane Gardner replaces him. Schofield plays the ball in for the Wildcats. Underneath their own hoop to Cobb on the right wing. Between the circles to Gardner. Gardner at the free throw line to Rollins. Spins into the lane. An 8-foot shot straight on. Spins off. No. Fight for the rebound, and maybe even literally so down low, as a couple of words exchanged between Moochie Cobb and Chase Brown. Foul on Weber State. Fred Rowland with the foul. That's his second. And how many times have you heard me and other announcers say the guy commits the foul trying to rebound his own miss? 34-31 Idaho State with 15:30 to play in the game. ISU has not played so well in the second half, but Weber can't catch up all the way. Off on the left, Rodney Harris out front for Idaho State. Off in the left wing at the 28-foot hash mark to Troy Miles. Miles in the left corner to Brown. Back out top to George Davis. He passes back to Brown near the left sideline. Checked by Rollin to Jim Rhode. Drives to the wing. Hands it off to Brown there on the left side. Out top of the key to George Davis. Bounces the ball once to Brown on the right wing. Man defense. Good defense for Weber State. To Rhode. Spins off the right point of the free throw line. Pulls up. 15-foot shot. Rolls off the rim. Cleaning the glass. The Windex man. It's Rico Washington. Long pass up ahead in the left corner. Shane Gardner. Gardner to a cutting Rico Washington down the lane. Layup. Block. Foul called against Idaho State. This broadcast is an exclusive presentation of KYBS FM of Livingston Bozeman and KXXL AM of Bozeman, and it's intended for the private use of our audience. Any rebroadcast or other use of this broadcast without the express written consent of KYBS FM and KXXL AM is strictly prohibited. Foul goes against Jim Rhode. That's his third for ISU. The 5th team foul called against the Bengals. Rodney Harris and Troy Miles will leave the Bengal lineup. Aaron Grizzell and Gordon Bean check in for the home team on the scoreboard, the fourth-seeded Idaho State Bengals in their home white uniforms trimmed in orange and black. And Rico Washington, who drew the foul, goes to the line and misses from the foul line. He's now 3 for 5. He bricked that one off the back iron. He has 9 points, so he's shooting for his first double-figure game in the tournament. Had 8 last night, and he buries the second free throw for his 10th point tonight. He's 4 for 6 from the line, makes it 34-32. Idaho State. Bengals with the ball to my right in front court. Gordon Bean as cutters come through the lane. Screens are set down low. Bean drives to the free throw line. Passes back on the right wing to Aaron Grizzell. Grizzell is met out there by Moochie Cobb. Hands the ball off top of the key to Chase Brown. Again, this motion offense to Gordon Bean out front. Jim Rhode on the right wing. Right to the lane to Brown. Now to George Davis. Spins for a shot. A push shot off the right baseline. Good from 10 feet out. George Davis, I'd like to call it a jump hook, but it was more of a push. Davis now has 8 in the game. 36-32 Idaho State. Weber State with the ball in front court to my left. Gardner hooks the pass to Washington on the left wing. Now to Fred Rollin. Rollin drives toward the left of the lane. Cut off there and a man defense for ISU. Pass comes into Schofield deep in the lane for Weber. Knocked out of bounds by Bean and a foul called against Idaho State. Special reminder that this broadcast is brought to you in part by Bud Light. 14:06 to play from the Brooke Breeden Fieldhouse in Bozeman. I'm Scott Miller, the voice of the Montana State Bobcats. We're all gearing up with lots of gold now to be seen in the Fieldhouse for Montana State and Montana later on. Foul does go against Gordon Bean. Inbounds pass in the left corner to Shane Gardner for Weber. A long three-point shot, no. An attempt to tip by Schofield, no good, and the rebound comes off to Aaron Grizzell. Inside 14 minutes left, and Weber is blowing opportunity after opportunity. Down 36-32. Gordon Bean, bullet pass out top of the key to George Davis. Davis to Aaron Grizzell on the left. To Jim Rhode, top of the key. Rhode off on the right to Gordon Bean. Rhode cuts to the basket, but cut off there. No pass available. On the right wing, dribbling from the right wing out top is George Davis. He gets the ball to Aaron Grizzell. Grizzell hands it in back of him to Chase Brown. Brown to Gordon Bean, who gets the pass in the lane to Davis. Hangs for an 8-foot shot. Partially deflected by Schofield. Rebound by Shane Gardner of Weber State. To Rico Washington, right of the lane, drives in toward the lane, has it stripped free and a steal by ISU. Gordon Bean comes back, 3-on-3 fast break. Bean in the middle, on the right to Chase Brown. Does kind of a funny stuff. Boy, okay, we're going to have a travel called against Chase Brown in the melee. He kind of did a bunny hop as he went toward the right of the lane. It was a goofy play, and he's called for a travel. Kind of reminds me of, you play hopscotch. 13-12 now to play in the game, and the travel on Brown. For Weber, they throw the ball away. Moochie Cobb from the right wing tried to throw the ball down along the baseline to Rico Washington. It's off his hand, and neither team seems to want to win Game 3 of the 88 postseason tournament. 6 to play in the game, 36-32. Idaho State with the lead in the ball. The Bengals bring the ball out of backcourt left to right to Gordon Bean off the right side of the key. He bounces it right to the lane to Davis, who squares up, passes to the free throw line to Bean. Bounces the pass down low to Green. He drives in from the left baseline and banks it in. So Michael Green scores it for Idaho State. The Bengals use that timeout to their advantage. Green's first hoop tonight, a junior from Long Beach, California. JC transfer, 6'1 guard, 38-32. The Wildcats get the ball back. Fred Rollin with the pass from Gardner drives in from the left baseline and draws a foul on Idaho State. Another reminder, Montana State and Montana. Game 2 tonight, 4th game overall of the tournament. 9 o'clock tip-off, 8:40 to 8:45 airtime on the Bobcat Basketball Network later tonight. For the 228th time in basketball history between the two schools, the Bobcats and the Grizzlies. That, my friends, is the 7th team foul called against Idaho State. So Weber will be in the bonus the rest of the way, and Fred Rollin promptly goes to the free throw line, connects. He's 1 for 1 from the line with his 3rd point. He misses the second free throw off the rim, and Chase Brown boards for Idaho State. Brown not doing too badly in rebounding. He has 3. 38-33, ISU with the ball in the lead. Gordon Bean with a left wing, bounced the pass down low to Chase Brown, and as he cuts to the hoop, a foul called against Weber State. Really no tempo to this game. Larry Farmer, the head coach for Weber State, sitting with very nice-looking blazer again. He's a great-dressed guy. Greg Boyd and Moochie Cobb out for Weber State at a guard. The foul goes against Weber. It's against Fred Rollin, his 3rd. Team foul number 5 against the Wildcats in the half. Idaho State ball underneath its own basket. Grizzell plays it in out top to Chase Brown, who waits for Grizzell to take it back. Right back to Brown again on the left wing. Top of the key to Green. Green works it off on the right side to George Davis. Davis bounces the ball once, the top of the key. A short lateral in back of him to Grizel. Again to Bean, a handoff top of the key to Chase Brown. Man defense, Brown guarded by Rollin. On the left, Grizel, baseline left, driving in. George Davis has it stuffed out of there by Rico Washington. Greg Boyd comes with it from the right corner. Long pass. Rico Washington all alone. Layup. He got it. Transition layup. Boyd, after a great block by Washington, came all the way back down to the floor. Got the lob pass to Washington. Rico now has a dozen, and look out if he gets going. It's 38-35. Idaho State by 3. Gordon Bean on the left wing for Idaho State. They swing it all the way around to the right wing to Aaron Grizel. Grizel with a short handoff to Chase Brown. Brown to Gordon Bean out in front. Schofield has him man-to-man to Michael Green on the right wing. Ball fake, travel on Michael Green of Idaho State. And we're going to have another timeout on the floor as both teams will regroup the Bobcats. It's Idaho State 38, Weber State 35 following the timeout. Weber with the ball, and Shane Gardner spins and weaves across the timeline, angling to his left. Gardner dribbles all the way to the free throw line, bounce the pass to Rollin, baseline left, leans in, 5-foot shot, swish, and Fred Rollin pulls Weber to within a point. So despite the fact that this game has not been overly well played, we are still very close. Idaho State with a single-point lead off the left side of the key. Michael Green feeds at the free throw line to Davis. Give and go back to Gordon Bean down low. Missed the shot from the lane, a 6-footer. Might have been blocked by Schofield. And coming out of there with the ball is Fred Rollin. Shane Gardner back for Weber. Right to left into front court. Goes to the top of the key. Lob it inside. Washington is there. Layup good. Look out. I think Washington is ready to catch fire. And Weber leads 39-38 with 10:40 left to play. For Idaho State, Gordon Bean, right side of the key. Snaps the pass at the free throw line to Davis for a shot. Bricked it too hard. And ripping down the board about halfway out in the lane, Rico Washington for Weber State. We have him now for 14 rebounds. He has 14 points as well. 39-38 Weber. Midway through the second half. Rico Washington on the right wing, man defense. He's guarded by George Davis. Lobs the pass to Shane Gardner. Off on the left. Head and shoulder fake. Has the ball almost picked clean by Aaron Grizel, but Gardner gets the ball back. Near midcourt, Grizel almost steals again. Gardner at the top of the key to Anthony McGowan. To Boyd off on the right wing. Bounce the pass down low. Washington, short bank shot's good. Rico Washington. He has found the low post, and Weber State has found the way to get it to him, and Dr. Jimbo Tan, with sweater and no sport coat now for Idaho State, may want to call time with 9:45 to play, and Idaho State calls for a timeout after getting the ball into front court. Weber State with a strong charge. Rico Washington taking over. A timeout of the 88 Big Sky tourney. Following the timeout by the Bengals, Idaho State with the ball. Chase Brown at the top of the key. Idaho State in its home white uniforms, trimmed in orange and black. Jim Rhode on the right wing. Man defense, Boyd checks him. Bounce the pass on the left wing to Chase Brown. Darren Alleman is back in with 4 fouls. They get it off the right side of the key to Miles. Miles, bullet pass to Harris in the lane. Bank shot from 3 is good. Rodney Harris scores. I really have a lot of respect for Jim Botan, the head coach for ISU. He took the timeout. He got the shot he wanted. Off on the left wing, a head and shoulder fake from Boyd. A quick shovel pass in the lane to McGowan. McGowan, after receiving the pass, called for a travel, and Larry Farmer is up and upset with his player, not the official that time after the call. He's a little bit upset with Anthony McGowan. The true freshman, McGowan's a 6'8" forward from Duarte, California. 41-40 to score. Weber leading by a point. At the top of the key, it's Darren Alleman for Idaho State. Snaps the two-handed pass to Troy Miles on the left. He spins, he goes down toward the left of the lane, hooks the pass to Harris, 5-footer straight on, short. It was blocked, and a foul called against Weber State. So ISU makes the adjustment. This game could be won ugly by either team, but they're really battling it out. Jeff Schofield comes back in for Weber. He's playing with 3 fouls. He replaces Anthony McGowan, the guy of whom I spoke in the first half. He had 2 clutch free throws down the stretch last night to help Weber State win. Not sure on whom that foul was called for Weber. It was inside against either Washington or Rollin. It was on Rico. His second foul, 16 foul called against Weber, and the free throw up and missed by Rodney Harris of Idaho State. Harris not shooting particularly well from the foul line this season. He's now 1 for 2 from the line tonight, has 7 total points. A senior from Gary, Indiana. Second free throw is around and off as well, and Washington with another rebound. We have him for 15. Now coming back, right to left into front court for Weber, leading 41-40 with 8:40 to play. Washington takes a pass from outside on the left wing, drives toward the left of the lane, back to Boyd in the left corner. Man defense, Rhode's on Boyd continually like a blanket. Off on the right at midcourt, it goes to Gardner. Gardner to Rico Washington, drives the right baseline. Cross-court pass in the lane, still to Rollin, and he gets the all-alone lay-in. Washington draws the defense to him, and then Fred Rollin from the left hits the short bank shot. Rollin has 7-5 in the second half. It's 43-40. Weber by 3. Idaho State on offense. To my right, Rodney Harris. Overhead pass to Alleman at the top of the key. Back off in the right wing to Troy Miles. He holds up one finger with the left hand, now dribbling with the right. Hands it to Brown out front. Brown at the top of the key to Rodney Harris. Harris to Miles in the right corner for 3. It rolls off the rim. Offensive rebound. Chase Brown, baseline left, back up with a 10-foot shot. That's in and out. The rebound is off the boards. Knocked out of bounds. Last touch by Rico Washington, who had a sure rebound, and he let it get away. Out of bounds to Idaho State. Now 7 minutes and 50 seconds to play in the game. 43-40 Weber. Idaho State ball underneath its own basket to my right. They lob it out front to Rhode, who dribble drives into the lane. Straight on, doesn't take the shot. Finds Alleman in the left corner. Back to Rhode. From the left wing, he drives in. Layup, good. Counted, and a foul against Weber. Jim Rhode making things happen. 11 now for the game. He'll go for his 12th, which could tie this thing at 43. Foul called on Schofield. That, my friends, is a big one. His 4th. Schofield has 4. Glenn has 4. Rollin has 3 for Weber. As Rhode, the 65% Big Sky free throw shooter, hits again. He's 3 for 3 from the line. Has a dozen tonight to lead the ISU Bengals and has tied us at 43. Shane Gardner is tripped up, but Rico Washington gets the loose ball in the lane, misses a 5-footer, tipped by Schofield. No, Rhode rebounds. Back he comes, 4-on-3 fast break in the middle of a 4-on-3. He passes to Brown right to the lane. It's stripped clean by Rollin. A long baseball pass across the timeline on the right to Schofield, and Schofield, like a second baseman, mishandling the chance of the double play, lets the ball go off his hands out of bounds. Turnover Weber. Score still tied at 43 with 7:25 to play, and Corey Bruce comes into the Idaho State lineup, replacing Chase Brown. Bruce is a 6'4.5" true freshman from Green River, Wyoming, one of the 2 Wyoming products on the ISU team, along with Darren Alleman. We continue game 3 of the tournament. Scott Miller, the voice of the Bobcats. A change of pace dribble by Troy Miles. He passes on the right wing to Harris. Harris hands it in back of him to Bruce. Out front to Darren Alleman. Schofield playing off of him. To Harris on the right wing. Fakes the shot. Washington doesn't go for the fake. Passing back of him to Rhode. Rhode to Corey Bruce at the top of the key. Man defense, motion offense for Idaho State. Rodney Harris dribbles once with the left hand. Looks in deep. Couple of guys posting up down low, and Harris has a guy hack off his arm, and a foul called against Weber State. Uchi Cobb and Calvin Glenn were over on the bench for Weber, and Glenn will come in, replacing Fred Rollin at forward. Glenn comes in with the 4 fouls and 6:58 still to play. The foul goes against Shane Gardner, his 3rd, and the 7th team foul called against Weber of the second half. That means that Idaho State will be in the bonus the rest of the game. Rodney Harris to the free throw line for ISU. Harris 1 for 3 from the line tonight, has 7 total points, and he got that one after missing 2 straight. He hits nothing but net. He's now 2 for 4. Harris a 60% foul shooter this season. Just inside 7 minutes to play, and ISU leads again 44-43, and he rattles the second free throw down as well. So Harris makes up for past sins and hits a couple of free throws. 45-43 Idaho State. Shane Gardner, not the best ball handler in America, out front for Weber, has it stripped clean, and a foul called on Troy Miles of Idaho State. Miles nearly had the steal, and he is not particularly enamored with the call of Frank Bissoni, the referee. Frank Bissoni out of the Seattle, Washington area, Bellevue. He's a terrific official in my opinion. Foul on Miles is his 1st. Score still 45-43, and Gardner at the free throw line buries the first one. Weber brings Moochie Cobb in, and Greg Boyd will get a blow. At the line is Shane Gardner, who is an 87% foul shooter, now better than that, as he's now made 21 of 24 free throws this season. Next free throw up, good. So he makes 2 for 2 there. Gardner, in a win over Nevada Reno, not last night, but last weekend in a regular season game, hit 6 of 7 free throws down the stretch to help Weber to a victory. So he's a fine foul shooter under pressure. 45-45 with 6:40 left. Between the circles, Darren Alleman for Idaho State. He fakes the pass on the left wing. Now jets the pass over there to Rodney Harris. Harris off right of the key to Corey Bruce. Man defense, Glenn has him. Bruce in the right corner to Alleman. In deep to Harris, into the lane, spins a 5-foot shot, banked too hard, but he draws the foul on Weber inside. The fans really don't seem to have any preference as to who wins this one, but boy, there are more and more people pouring into the Brick Breeden Fieldhouse. The foul's on Rico Washington. That's his third. And Rodney Harris goes right back to the line for ISU, where he just made 2 and has made 3 of 5 tonight. Has 9 total points, closing in on double digits, and the free throw is perfect. Harris, as far as rebounding goes tonight, has picked up 4 so far. He now has 10 points. He's 4 for 6 from the free throw line. He eyes the hoop again. Nice deep knee bend. Good free throw form. Free throw swish. 11 for Harris. 5 for 7 from the line. 47-45, Idaho State leading the seesaw second half. Darren Alleman with a steal way out on the wing, taking the ball away from Rico Washington. ISU has it. Alleman, the big guy, lumbers back left to right, and Troy Miles with the right hand yo-yo dribble across the timeline to Corey Bruce. Bruce is chested by Moochie Cobb out front. They bounce the pass in the right corner to Troy Miles for a 3-point shot that's strong. He can't find the ocean. Washington rebounds. Outlet on the right to Shane Gardner. Gardner to Jeff Schofield near the right corner. He pulls up. He pivots once. He pivots twice. Passes to Washington. Cuts down the lane. Shot good. Rico Washington with a 5-foot bank. He has 18, and he has scored 11 in the second half. We're tied at 47. A very close game down the stretch with 5:40 to play. Jim Rhode for ISU way out on the left to Corey Bruce. Dribble drive down the lane. He's out of control. He's tripped up along the way, though, and a foul called as he loses control of the ball. Foul called against Weber. 5 minutes and 34 seconds to play. The winner of Game 3 here between Weber State and Idaho State meets Boise State, the top seed, tomorrow night, 7:06. And Kelvin Glenn has just fouled out of the Weber State lineup. That is significant in and of itself because Glenn is a fine defensive player, considered to be possibly the best Weber State defender on the team, and he'll go at the 5:34 mark, scoring 4 points, 2 in each half. And Anthony McGowan, as was the case last night after Schofield fouled out, is going to have to get the job done for Weber in the final 5.5. McGowan has not yet scored. He's a 6'8" true freshman again from Duarte, California. Bruce from the free throw line shoots and scores for Idaho State. He'll have another, the bonus free throw now. The freshman is a 75% foul shooter, Corey Bruce. He's now made 7 of 9 this season. Second free throw, rims in and out. Battle for the rebound between Gardner and McGowan, 2 Weber State teammates, and Gardner has it for the Wildcats. Now we have an odd point lead of 1 point for Idaho State, 48-47. Weber has it near the right corner. It's Jeff Schofield to the free throw line to McGowan. Bounce the pass to Washington. Cuts down toward the left of the lane. He spins for an 8-foot shot. It rolls off the rim, and a foul called against Idaho State. Rico Washington will come back to the free throw line. He's drawn himself and earned himself a couple of free throws. Chase Brown back on for Idaho State. Corey Bruce out. Larry Farmer's up off the Weber State bench again. The foul goes against Jim Rhode. That is his 4th with 5:17 to play, and we'll have to really keep our eyes closely on the next couple of fouls. We could have some more guys going out in addition to Calvin Glenn, the fouled out Wildcat of a moment ago. Washington has 18 points in the game. He's made 4 of 6 and now make it 5 of 7 free throws tonight. Rico Washington with his 19th point. Next free throw up right over the top of his head is good. 20 for Rico. 6 of 8 from the line, and it's 49-48. Weber leads by a point with 5:10 to play. At the top of the circle for Idaho State, Troy Miles feeds it off on the right wing to Chase Brown against a 2-3 half-court zone for Weber. This is the first time they zoned in a long while, and Rhode off the left shoots a three-pointer over the zone and missed it. Moochie Cobb with a long rebound. A long cross-court pass to Rico Washington. Baseline right, drives into the lane, hands it in back of him to the freshman McGowan. He missed the 8-foot shot off the right, and a muscle-up rebound from Rodney Harris, who flails the elbows as if to say, don't mess with me, I'm going to knock you down. 4:40 to play. It's 49-48, Weber State by a point. At the top of the key for Idaho State, Troy Miles. Off on the right to Brown, to Miles, to Brown. Bounce pass back out, top again to Miles. He works it on the left wing to Rhode. Drives into the left corner, back out on the left wing. Miles fakes the shot there. We have 4:25 to play. Shot clock is now inside 20 seconds. Miles, overhead pass to Jim Rhode near the left sideline, to Alleman in the left corner. It's a 2-3 half-court zone. Back out to Miles on the left wing. He cannot buy a hoop. Schofield, weak side rebound. Bucci Cobb out of backcourt to Schofield on the left wing. In the lane, Washington spins, 5-foot shot. Yeah, counted and a foul. Rico Washington. He's just too much on the inside. We called it earlier in the half. When he gets his hands on the ball inside, there aren't too many people who can handle him one-on-one. And Darren Alleman just found that out. He has fouled out for Idaho State. Alleman is gone at the 4:06 mark. Each team now has one man disqualified. Glenn for Weber State, Alleman for Idaho State. And Washington, who was just at the line a moment ago, has a chance for a three-point play. He missed it short. Weber tries to tip it in, can't do it. It's off a couple of pairs of hands, and Chase Brown has the loose ball rebound for Idaho State. The Bengals come back down 51-48, inside 4 minutes left. Top of the key, Brown. Off on the right to Jim Rhode. The 2-3 zone for Weber. A tactical move. They work the ball around, does Idaho State. On the left wing, Miles. Out at left side of the key to Chase Brown. Brown drives to the wing. Back off high on the left to Miles to Jim Rhode. An off-balance 12-foot shot just inside the free throw line is missed. Foul called as Chase Brown climbs the back of Rico Washington. And again, Washington is making his presence felt. We have him unofficially with 22 points and 16 rebounds, and we're still 3:38 away from the end of regulation. The foul is called against Idaho State. Let's check to see on who. 3:38 left, 51-48 Weber with a three-point lead. The score was 32-27 ISU at half. The foul on Brown, his second. Each team in the bonus. Rico at the line, free throw, it rims around, no good on the rebound, Idaho State. Rodney Harris cleared the board. Washington now misses back-to-back free throw tries when Weber really needed them. And Idaho State with the ball on the left wing, Jim Rhode. He snaps the pass in the corner to Rodney Harris. He skips it out top to Chase Brown. Bobbles it for a moment, gets it back. Passes near the right corner to Rhode. Cutters come through the lane against the 2-3 zone. And working outside on the perimeter, Rhode passes in the lane to Rodney Harris. He spins at the free throw line. It's triple teamed. 10-foot shot straight on is good. Rodney Harris with a terrific athletic move that time. He now has 13 and leads all ISU scorers. Makes it a 51-50 game. Weber by a point. Nail-biting time. We're inside 3 to play. Rico Washington on the right wing. Bodies fly. That's Chase Brown to the floor. No foul call. He just tripped. Bucci Cobb is checked man-to-man out front for Weber State by ISU's Troy Miles. Cobb gets a screen from Schofield. Works to the left wing. Out top to Anthony McGowan. Squares up. Bounce the pass to Washington. Right of the lane. Short bank. Good. Rico Washington, he's up to 24, thank you very much. 17 in the second half, 16 rebounds. It's 53-50. Chase Brown for ISU on the right wing. Weber State with the lead. To Troy Miles, top of the circle against the 2-3 zone. Brown on the right wing, shoots over the 3. It's good. He's on the line, though. He's over the 2-3 zone with the shot, but it's a two-pointer and not 3, and Brown now has double figures with 10. It's 53-52. The two teams exchange baskets with 2:10 left. Weber State with it. They nearly throw the ball away. Schofield has a loose ball at the top of the circle with a bounce pass in back of him near the right at midcourt to Shane Gardner. Gardner dribbles between his legs. Short pass right to left at midcourt to Cobb. Cobb to Chico Washington. He's Rico Chico with a bounce pass in the corner to Shane Gardner. 15-footer angle left. He missed it. Weak side rebound to George Davis. And ISU comes back with a minute 45 left, down 53-52. Might we see a timeout? No, we might not right now. Jim Rhode for Idaho State on the left wing. Bounce the pass to Troy Miles, who works the right-hand dribble like a yo-yo on the left wing. They swing it around on the right wing to Jim Rhode. Still a 2-3 zone, but it's extended now for Weber. Cobb and Gardner are the two guys at the point of the 2-3 for Weber State. Chase Brown bounces it on the left wing to Miles. Good patience with a minute 20 left in the game. Idaho State bounces it inside. Harris spins in the lane. A 5-foot shot blocked by McGowan. Foul called McGowan. Harris got it in the low post right of the lane. He spun into the lane and wanted to lean in for the 6-foot shot. McGowan was there. Picks up his second foul. He got all ball with the arm, but I think the body came down on Harris. And Rodney Harris will now go to the free throw line. Harris this season, a 58% free throw shooter, 63% in Big Sky Conference games. Tonight, he is 5 for 7. Total, he has 13 tonight. 1 to tie, 2 to give Idaho State the lead. Free throw, perfect. Harris now 6 of 8 from the foul line. Greg Boyd comes back in for Weber State, replacing Moochie Cobb. Cobb had 9 first-half points, hasn't scored a single point in the second half. We're tied 53 all with 1:15 to play, and Rodney Harris can give ISU the lead with 75 seconds left. Deep knee bend, free throw up, good. Big free throw for Idaho State. Neither team willing to roll over and play dead. No full court defense from Idaho State, but they'll be all over Weber State half court. Shane Gardner in the front court. Tarico Washington underneath the hoop, drives in from the right, missed the layup, tipped by Washington. No, loose ball taken by Idaho State. George Davis with a big rebound. Larry Farmer is really giving Dan Nixich, one of the referees, a piece of his mind with 55 seconds left, and we have a timeout. Timeout called by...
We're AM 1450 KXXL Bozeman, your Gallatin Valley Sports Connection.
Idaho State plays the ball in at midcourt from the far sideline, almost throws the ball away, but George Davis gets it in backcourt. Now across the timeline to Michael Green. Green to Chase Brown, top of the key off on the left to Harris. Harris top of the key to Davis. Davis on the right wing to Green. Green bounces the ball once to Troy Miles. They have their guards and free throw shooters in there for the most part, do Idaho State. Top of the key, Chase Brown. Bounce the pass to George Davis. We have 30 seconds left in the game. Shot clock's at 10 and coming down. On the right wing, Michael Green. Dribble drive, down the lane, on the run. 8-foot shot, good! Michael Green with a huge play. He has 4 points all in the second half, and Weber may want timeout. Yes, Moochie Cobb comes back, and they call timeout with 17 seconds to play, and we'll keep it here. That's a big, big play. He hasn't taken many three-pointers this season. He's made 4 of 12. So hang on to your seats. 17 seconds left. Idaho State 56, Weber State 53. Wildcat ball in front court just across the timeline. Greg Boyd will play it in from the far sideline. Can't find anybody. Now a short scoop pass into Moochie Cobb, dribbling at midcourt between the circles. Gets around his man Miles. Gets a screen, goes to the right wing. Toward the right corner. Back out top with 9 seconds to play. Boyd drives in. A three-pointer on the run is short. It's no good. And a foul called against Rhode of Idaho State with 6 seconds to play. I think that would have gone as a three-pointer if Boyd could have gotten it. He leaned in, but I think still had his feet in back of the three-point line from just off the right side of the circle. And Rhode fouls out. So if from some miracle Weber State should force the overtime, Rhode would not be available to the Bengals in the 5-minute extra session. 6 seconds left. Rhode's gone. And Dr. Jim Botan will have a chance to think it over as to who will go to off the Bengal bench. Greg Boyd to the free throw line now for Weber State. Boyd is a 71.4% free throw shooter. He's made 10 of 14 tries this season. Tonight, Boyd has not scored a single point. He has not taken a single free throw. He's a 6'4" senior from Burley, Idaho, who scored a career-high 31 last night. And what a difference 24 hours makes. He has not scored tonight. Timeout called by Idaho State with just 6 seconds to play. Again, we'll keep it here. Game will play Idaho, the second seed in the tournament, tomorrow night at 9:36. So the wheels have turned on either bench. ISU has gone to the bench with Michael Green again in at guard and Troy Miles replacing the fouled out Jim Rhode. And at the free throw line, it's Greg Boyd. Again, a 71% foul shooter. He'll shoot 2 as he was fouled in the act of shooting before the timeout. So everybody now positioning themselves around the lane. Everybody is around the lane with the exception of Troy Miles, who will be the safety valve defender for Idaho State. Boyd eyes the basket. Free throw up, swish. First point of the game for Boyd. Now what will he do? 6 seconds left. 56-54, Idaho State by 2. And Boyd eyes the basket. 3 bounces of the ball. Free throw up. He missed it intentionally. The rebound comes to Rodney Harris of Idaho State. Foul called on Weber. Boyd did look, I think, to miss that shot. He shot it off to the right. It rolled off the rim, but Harris got the board for Idaho State, and a foul called against Greg Boyd of the Wildcats. His first will come back the other way, and Rodney Harris will have to prove himself at the free throw line again for Idaho State. 4 seconds now left. Idaho State 56 and Weber State 54. And a timeout called by Larry Farmer and the Wildcats. And again, we'll keep it here to recap what may happen in the Final Four. MSU Bobcats knocked off down in Tuscaloosa earlier this season. At the free throw line now, Rodney Harris. Again, to set the stage, 4 seconds left, 56-54 Idaho State, and Harris 7 for 9 from the foul line. Eyes the basket. Free throw up. It's good. With one more, Harris will put this game out of reach. He is now 8 for 10. His 9th free throw will give Idaho State a victory. The Bengals have one man along the free throw lane to rebound. Weber has 3. Free throw up, looks short, no, it's good, and that ought to do it. Schofield with the ball for Weber. Long pass up ahead to Anthony McGowan on the run, a 25-footer, good for 3 at the buzzer, but it doesn't matter. Can you believe it? The freshman hit the running 25-foot three-point shot with virtually no time left, but because Harris made both free throws, we have a 1-point Idaho State victory. Unbelievable, and Weber State more than represented its